Morning everybody, welcome back to another episode of Mad Mondays. This is episode number 12, and if you don't know who I am, I'm Nomad222. Welcome to my channel. Please consider subscribing and all of that good stuff. We're trying to get a golden play button, you already know what it is. And again, if you guys are curious as to what this is, please make sure you go back and watch episode 1. All the details are there. That'll let you get up to speed with why I'm doing this, why I answer these questions, why I make these videos, and why I do what I do. So for those of you who are returning, today's episode I'm going to be talking about using music to build community. And the first question that we have here is, how do you define community in the context of your music? And I do feel like this is something that I've spoken about before, but it is something that I'm very passionate about. So I don't, while I don't want to hop on about the same things and repeat myself all over again, I do want to try and give you some more context about, why community is so important to me. And the simple fact is that, for majority of my childhood, I never felt like I fit in with any of my communities, or the communities that I belong to. And what I mean by that is I grew up in Melbourne. I was born and raised in Melbourne, Australia, Naarm, and I am half Samoan on my mom's side, and I'm half Māori on my dad's side. And the sort of I guess division that caused for me in my childhood, I was always too palangi for the Islanders or the Māoris. I was also too brown for the white kids, and I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere. And on top of that, I also just struggled to communicate how I felt and just talk about anything really. So that was something that was really difficult for me growing up. But as I grew older and I stepped into, my sense of self and started to explore identity a little bit further, I realized that, the things that make me me, there's Samoan and Māori running through my veins. That's undeniable. There's a lot of things about me that are undeniable. My love for music, for example, is another thing that's undeniable. And I started to realize the emphasis that, and emphasize the fact that where you were raised and the context of your upbringing doesn't define who you are. Like we all define who we are. And there's certain things that people cannot take away from you, no matter how hard they try to discredit you, whether that's who you are and what cultures you belong to. You're always going to be that. And so I also saw, as an observer, just the things that sort of plagued our communities as well. As I became a young man and transitioning between adolescence into adulthood, I started to notice the pitfalls of what it means to be a Polynesian man in this country. And I started to notice that a lot of my peers, a lot of the young men that I grew up with, were starting to fall into, street life, and, start carrying weapons, start doing drugs and things like that, and end up in juvenile detention. And I also noticed that a lot of, if you weren't going down that pathway, that a lot of us only saw one pathway and outcome to succeed in, and that was, taking on jobs like warehousing or things like that. Like there was only hard labor for us. That's the only thing that we're good for. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Like my dad, provided a lot for us working in a warehouse, and, raised 6 incredible kids who, all doing their own things, and still raising my younger siblings now. But just to say that, that for other people, what I was noticing was that it was this consensus that we can only do this, that we were limited to this one space, and that's all that we're good for. When we can't do anything else, we can't step into other fields and excel, that we can only do this, and that's the only means of money, is putting our physical health on the line. So I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I just wanted to give a little bit more background and context to all of that. And the original question was, how do you define community in the context of your music? And the way that I define community has stretched and expanded a lot since I was a kid, because yeah, obviously I used to just think that it was Polynesian community, or my immediate community where I live and my neighbors and things like that. But I realized that I'm a part of multiple communities at once, and they all coexist in my mind simultaneously. And that is, obviously the roots and my culture, where I'm from, what I believe in. There's also, my faith and things like that. For a long time, I grew up LDS in the Mormon church, and that was a community for me. That's a community that's got a little bit more nuance for me, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But now, as a musician, as an artist, content creator, that's another space, that's another community of mine, where my peers are also fellow creatives and things like that. So within the context of my music, I often try to reflect my communities within my music, whether that's writing a song that's empowering for Polynesians, writing a song that's empowering for parents, young parents, or writing a song that's to encourage other independent artists to embrace the independent life, or not fall victim to the traps of the industry and things like that. So that's how I would answer question number one. So question number two is, what initiatives have you taken to engage with your local community through music? There's multiple different ways. I mean, music videos are things that I'm very passionate about, and more so being able to utilize a music video as a platform to highlight certain talents, or even just give people the opportunity to be involved, whether that's like as an extra, as a cameo, and just to be present on a set and feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. For example, my music video Shine, that was a great opportunity. It was directed by Justin McWillie and of Strange World Studios. We had Ty Stone doing the camera work on it as well. And yeah, just a lot of hands came together to make that collaboration a reality. But another person that we also had on board was Paula Cortez, who's got her hat in many different fields, whether that's as a makeup artist or photography, direction, things like that, but ultimately has the network and the friendships, and has built a reputation as being someone that's so for community, that I knew that I just needed to have her involved. And what she was able to do was bring people together to be a part of my vision, to join in during the day, during some of the group shots, the posse shots, where we needed people to come together and feel like a community, so that it reflects on camera. And that's what she was able to pull together. And on top of that, use some of her connections within the fashion industry to source pieces that we could wear, and spotlight some of the brands like Jazzla Pearl, like Weeboard. What else did we wear? I know that there was some Bogota fits that were present on the day. And that was huge for us. Just to give it a point of difference and show that it's a wide community of people out here doing things. And on top of that, my cousin Logan Tapwala, who also does like Siva Afi and for Messina Treasures of Samoa, which is my Auntie Moena's brand. It was very important to me that he was present there too, because he's someone that I believe is so incredibly talented, but talented in a way that showcases our culture, our roots as Samoans. And if you go and watch that music video for Shine, he's in there doing his thing with the fire knives, wearing a lava. And yeah, that's just something that I always feel is integral. Any point in time where I'm able to, use my platform or use my content as a way to showcase my community, whether that is in content creation or just creatives or even my cultural roots, then that's something that I'm going to do. I'm going to take that opportunity every time. Question number 3 is, can you share a specific project that exemplifies your commitment to community building? So yeah, I obviously shared Shine, but some other things that I can share, for example, let me flip the camera. So one of a few different things that we've been able to, that I've had the opportunity to be a part of, is that event right there, Red Door Block Party. I'm not sure if the camera's focusing right now, but Red Door Block Party was one of 3 events that I produced. Oh, you'll actually see back there, that poster right there is for Red Door West Side. So the Red Door brand was something that I was part of with Chad Fury, who goes by Sonny Malone now, and Dietrich Hettig, and the 3 of us got together in, I want to say 2022 or 2023, to discuss building a content house, or a production house where we got to create different content. And one of the IPs that we came up with, intellectual properties, was Red Door Sessions. And Red Door Sessions is still out there now. We've got 2 seasons out on YouTube, but basically it was sort of our version of the artist performance or studio performance genre of content that's out there now. We've seen things like Colors, we've seen Tiny Desk, From the Block is another one, but we were seeing things like that, and we wanted to get into that space to represent Melbourne's music scene at a grassroots level, and that's why we created Red Door Sessions. Now, one thing that was personally important to me was being able to take that format and create a live setting from it. Because yeah, it's one thing to grab that content, but then to be able to engage an audience in person is an entirely different experience for artists, first of all. And that's something that's very important to me. But also just to give our viewers a chance to come and witness it in person too is a completely other benefit from being able to do live events. So I had the opportunity as an artist to be part of the Newprint program, which was a Multicultural Arts Victoria led program, created program, in partnership with Creative Victoria and the On the Road Again initiative. And that was just as myself as an artist, Nomad222, and I'd been a part of that program previously in the first iteration, where the OGs, as we call ourselves, we got to create the name and be like the guinea pigs for that first thing. And in that first one, I did a couple of cool things. I got to do an album launch at the Wynnum Cultural Centre. I got to host another event in collaboration with Titan Debirian, and we did something called Newprint Out West, and that was very cool. We had a bunch of different artists come up, some artists for the very first time, and we also had like a additional program in there too, where I got to workshop with new emerging acts. So that was cool. But the second time around was, just after we'd completed season 1 of Red Door Sessions, and that was great. But I knew that once I got the opportunity again for Newprint 2, that I wanted to use it for something bigger than just myself, and I wanted to use these events as an opportunity to expand the Red Door brand, essentially. So what we did, through Newprint 2, I was able to get 2 events fully funded where I could produce it and curate it alongside Dietrich and Chad. I also happened to have an additional amount of funding from Wyndham City Council to host an event in Wyndham, produce it, curate it, exactly the same thing. So essentially I lumped that in with the other two from Newprint and made 3 events over the course of 2023. The first event that we produced was the Red Door Block Party that I just showed you. We had, who we got there? We had DJ Demise on the 1s and 2s, who was someone that I, honestly, I just met him through work. He just so happened to be a DJ. Really dope vibes too, like dance hall, Afrobeat sort of vibes. Very different. But I met him while working at a place in Ravenhall, and so I got him on there on that lineup last minute. DJ Jules was also on the lineup too, spinning. We had Remedy, Tayana, Kobe Helu, and Crown Heights to close out the event, and it was just a dope night. We did it at Counterweight Vinyl and Espresso, which is unfortunately closed down now, but it lived under what used to be Baby Snakes, but now that is obviously Misfits place. But super cool venue. We got to take over that alleyway, have a full stage, pay everyone fairly, filmed content for it and everything. That's also on YouTube, so you can check that out. But that was our first live event as Red Door, and it was quite successful. A lot of people showed out, a lot of people had a great time and understood what the Red Door brand was. We got a lot of subscribers to the channel through that, but that was just one of 3. And the second one that we did in that same year, we called that the Red Door launch event, and that was because we wanted to have it be a half a live performance, live music event, but the other half be seminar sort of style, with different panels and questions. So we had Lydia Tessima host. We had performances from people that were featured on the first season of Red Door Sessions, and that was myself, Strictly DT, Young Shogun, Jacinta, Tyra Lewis, and yeah, obviously Lydia Tessima hosted. My sister Tayana jumped up with me, and we performed together. But myself and Sunny, we got to talk about what our visions were for Red Door and everything like that. And anyway, I'm sort of waffling on about these events, and that event back there, Red Door West Side, was our third one, which was in collaboration with Wyndham City Council. We got to essentially take over and curate the stage for Wyndham Winterfest, and that was awesome. I also had additional funding through All the Queen's Men, who had secured funding from Vic Health's Future Reset initiative, and they gave me some funding to run a pilot program for Platform, which was something that I had in the works since 2019. But essentially we got myself and Vina facilitated workshops with various emerging artists from around Victoria in Wyndham, and we did that at the Annex, but we kind of fed that into the Red Door West Side event, where we curated a lineup of established talent, but we would open up the show with platform artists, and the artists that came to our platform workshops got to perform one song each during the actual show. So that was really cool. We got to work with them, develop their craft and their ability to perform live, and then they got to perform live at an actual event, which was Wyndham Winterfest. So that was the third event. We did 3 events in 2023 that I'm super proud of, but each of those events were different ways where personally I feel like it shows my commitment to building community, and obviously it is so very important to me that it's not just about myself, but also recognizing that, where I live, Wyndham City itself has so many talented individuals, but I find that we're constantly heading out, heading over to the city, or heading across to the southeast to find different opportunities, or heading north, and all we need is opportunities here at home so that we can build ourselves up. And one of the things that's really important to me is building our own infrastructure so that we don't have to rely on these organizations and these these other corporations and things like that to help fund our dreams. We're trying to fund them ourselves and give ourselves the skill set so that we don't have to, you know, outsource or anything like that. And I'm probably not wording that in the right way, but what I'm trying to say is that is that community building is obviously super important to me. And I think that those 3 projects are, you know, 3 of the most recent and most successful ones that prove my commitment to building our community. So I'm going to leave it at that. That was a lot. Anyway, question number 4. How do you believe music can facilitate connection and support? Quite easily. I mean, in the same way that music has made me a fan of somebody, or made me feel like I'm bigger than, or that the world is so much bigger than just this little, than these 4 walls that I have around me, or well, 3 walls and a door. I feel like that's always going to be the reason. Like I've seen the proof in myself, the fact that I feel supported and the fact that I feel connected to the artists that I listen to, whether that's J. Cole or Kendrick or Lauryn Hill or La Russell or Connor Price or whatever. I have seen it in full effect, and that's why I believe that I have the ability or the opportunity to be able to do that myself and build the kind of community where I see myself reflected. So yeah, that's why I believe, is because I've seen it, and seeing is believing. Question number 5, what impact do you hope to have on your community through your art? I've said this a million times before. The impact that I want to have is just that people can look at me do it and know that I've proved the concept, and know that if I can do it, then anyone can do it. Again, I have talked about this openly. I don't think that I'm the most talented person, but that should be even more reason why people think that they can do it, because I'm out here doing it. I'm out here doing the work and doing the mahi to try and get myself into a position of success and try and get myself to where I aspire to be. And if I am successful, there is no excuses to why anyone else can't. There is a lot of people who are single without kids who feel like they aren't able to succeed, or feel like they can't rise above whatever it is that they're going through, or whatever station they may be stuck at right now. But here I am, 28 years old. I've been at this for nearly 10 years. I haven't given up yet. I've got 4 kids. My eldest is 7. My second is about to start primary school. My 2 younger ones are still in preschool. Me and my partner are a team. We need each other, we rely on each other, and we take up a chunk of each other's lives that, you know, we cannot compromise on. But with that being said, I'm still here doing it. I don't use those as excuses. I use those as fuel to keep me going whenever I feel like I need to stop, or I feel like I can't do it. I don't give up. I keep going. And so again, that's things that I reflect into my music. I make music about what it is that I'm going through, what it is that I've experienced in life, and I put it out there in the hopes that someone can connect with it, someone can resonate with it. Admittedly, I've got a song out there called Be Like That, which, you know, is a very specific scenario. It's a man talking to another man about the struggles that he's facing because he's just found out that his partner is pregnant with a second child, and he doesn't know what to do, and he's struggling with his mental health. He tried to kill himself and things like that. That's all me. And then fortunately I had As One on there as well to help me, you know, navigate that and encourage me and show me, you know, comfort at that time. But we put that out there, and it's a very narrow amount of people who are probably going to relate to that 100%. But we still put that out there anyway, because if it connects with one person, then that's all that matters. It's worked. So yeah, that the impact that I want to have is just to be able to resonate with people, and just to show them that if I can make it through, if I can get my foot in the door, then all of us can walk through it together. So that's question number 5. Question number 6 is, how do you collaborate with community organizations to achieve your goals? You just got to get in the room. I've said this from 2018 onwards. There are opportunities out there that might not be considered the most cool, that might not be considered stylish or whatever, but you got to put your ego aside and be willing to step into rooms that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. My very first opportunities came from being in music programs that were free and at community centers. A lot of people don't want to step into community centers because they represent the institution, or they just seem like they're not where the cool kids hang out. But I did that when I was 19, 20 years old. And that changed my life. That decision to go there, that message that I got from Jade Ward when she sent it to me on Facebook, and I decided, you know what, my friend sent me this, I'm going to go, not only for her, but for myself. What else do I have to lose? That's the kind of attitude that you have to be successful in this. If I hadn't have gone to that, I wouldn't have had my first recording opportunity. I wouldn't have got my first single, wouldn't have got my first live performance. That one decision to go, to stir it up in 2018 and allow myself to be teachable in that moment from Dennis Penaligan, was the opportunity that set me up for everything else that I've accomplished in this industry. So that's how I collaborate, just being open-minded to every single thing. Open-minded, know what it is that is your goal, and be willing to listen to those who know how to help you get there. Last but not least, what challenges have you faced in your community building efforts? Rome wasn't built in one day, and developing your own infrastructure is not going to happen in one day either. There's many challenges that I've faced. I mean, just being based in Wyndham, there is no infrastructure, there are no venues for us to host our own live shows. And that's something that has been very apparent just in the past 2 years alone. And it's something that I'm trying to combat. And honestly, I keep coming up to this wall where it's like, we just got to build our own venue, man. We just got to build our own place. Or, you know, be like LaRussell and have our own backyard shows. Do something out the back with our marquee, which is something that I'm seriously looking into. But yeah, just things like that. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of people who, you know, because they haven't seen the proof of concept before, because they haven't seen it be done in front of their eyes before, they just won't believe in what it is that you're trying to build. And that's no fault to them. They just haven't seen it. And that's something that you have to learn to have thick skin about and be able to navigate in a way that's not emotional. And, you know, that for me, I'm a very emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So that's already a challenge in itself. But being able to persevere and push through that despite the challenges that they present is, you know, is a skill set that you need to develop early. Otherwise, you're not going to last, and you're gonna quit before you even get anywhere. But yeah, in terms of the community-based efforts, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I've lived through and worked through a shift in the culture where, you know, drill became the most popular thing and what everybody wanted to hear and do. I watched a lot of people go from being R&B singers or rapping the same way that I rap, which is like, you know, cross between that New York style, but very American influenced, to, you know, now using these accents that I've never even heard them speak with. You know, obviously I've got a bit of a different speaking accent than I do when I rap, but I definitely don't speak like, you know, drillers or anything like that. And that's not something that I'm comfortable in shifting into. But that in itself, you know, it kind of alienated me and gave me that same feeling as I felt when I was, you know, a little kid. But yeah, so there's a lot of different challenges. There's the desire to want to build your community up and assist your community to help, you know, get it to the next level or whatever level you think that it's deserving of being at, but then ultimately being rejected by that community and not, you know, them not wanting it. And it's that saying of, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. I can show my community the way to go, but at the end of the day, they have to decide for themselves whether or not they want to take the red pill or the blue pill. I'm crossing my metaphors again, but I think you guys get what I mean. It's tough sometimes when you want more for people than they want for themselves, and that's real love, and that's genuinely what I feel I have for my communities, plural. It's just genuine love and desire to see it succeed. It's the whole reason why I started, rapping. It's the whole reason why I started We Move Co. It's the whole reason why we started Red Door Sessions, which I'm going to announce right now is something that I'm looking to bring back and rebrand into Muses. Based off my event with Open Stage and rebranding to Muses to, give more of a inside detail as to why the artists that we choose to work with create in the way that they do. What is their muse? But again, it's a never-ending challenge of never not knowing what exactly your community wants and needs from you. It doesn't matter how many focus groups you put together. It doesn't matter if you do co-design or anything like that. It doesn't matter who you talk to. Different people are going to want different things. And you kind of just need to be on the pulse and able to adapt at all times. But challenges are always going to present themselves, whether that's in community building, creativity, doing anything in general. There's always going to be challenges, and you just need to be able to adapt on the fly. And that's where I'm going to leave that now. I know there was a lot in there, and if there's anything specific that I said that maybe you want me to elaborate on or talk about more specifically, I'm happy to. I'm thinking about doing more lives on like TikTok or Instagram, maybe even YouTube as well. So let me know in the comments if you want to see more of that. Please leave a like or dislike it if you didn't like any of the shit that I just talked about. But I just want to say and sign off that I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed talking about community. It's where I feel like I'm more natural in conversing. And yeah, I would love it if my community could please let me know how I'm doing and if I'm representing us in a good way. I'd love my communities to please let me know if there's another angle that maybe I'm missing or another perspective that might be valuable for me or challenge me. But yes, other than that, again, please subscribe. Trying to get a golden play button. Listen to my music. It's on all platforms, Nomad222. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. And remember, together we move.